This week you conduct Stravinsky's Firebird and the piano concerto you composed. What do we need to know about your piece before we listen to it? What was your inspiration?
Well, I don't think this piece is particularly difficult to take in. I think it's fairly accessible music, and I think from the point of view of the expression, the emotional content and all that, I think it should be fairly clear what I mean. So I don't think that the audience or the listener needs any particular analysis of the piece in order to understand what's going on. I don't believe in sort of exaggerated intellectual complexity in music. I think music should be more like almost like a biological thing, that it's part of our DNA in a way, and we understand it the same way we understand language and the same way we enjoy food and other good things in life. So you don't have to know anything necessarily, but in terms of inspiration, most of my pieces actually quite often get started in terms of somebody, a musician or an orchestra or a conductor or something like that. And in this case, of course, the kind of central figure in all this is the soloist, Jefim Bronfman, who is a very good friend of mine. Known him for many years, and we played more than 100 concerts together over the years and around the world and all that. So when I started writing this piece, he was on my mind as the person who is going to do it in reality. Well, we had dinner once together I believe in Salzburg about 8 years ago, something like that, and we had a good time. He had just played a great concert, and we had some wine, and he suggested I write a piano concerto for him, and I said yes, why not? And then a few years went by, and I didn't have the time to do it, and then the New York Philharmonic approached me and asked whether I could write a piece for them for my concert. And then I thought that this would be the moment to do the piano concerto finally, which I had been thinking about for a long time. And they said fine, and so I set out to write it in 2005, and in about 2 years' time it was finished. I don't really believe in music that you cannot understand without explanation. There's something wrong with that kind of music, in my opinion. Of course, great music has many secrets that are not being revealed right away. But even the greatest, most profound, complex masterpieces offer you something the first time round, without any particular theoretical explanation. And then, of course, once you go back to this music, it explains itself even more, and you find new things in it. And the greatest canon of our music, the Beethovens and the Brahmses and the Bruckners and what have you, they offer an endless source of discovery, of course. But also, they offer something first time round. And that's, for me, the goal, to be able to write something that first time round is already it communicates first time round. It tells the listeners something. But if you go back to it, you might hear new things in it. And of course, in the best case scenario, one always finds new things in it, regardless how many times you go back to it. But of course, this is a tall order.
You chose to combine the piano concerto with Stravinsky's Firebird. Why this combination?
First of all, I love the piece. Stravinsky is one of my most central composers in my mind, always, and a great model as a composer as well. Also, I thought that there's quite a bit of, let's put it this way, that the early version of the Firebird, which we are playing, is the first version he wrote of it, the full ballet, which he wrote for the Diaghilev Ballet Russe in Paris. It is a melange of kind of French color and Russian color in a way, and on some level my piano concerto has the same kind of cultural mix, if you wish. There's a lot of French type of textures in this music, but also some kind of Russian motoric material, kind of Russian kind of rhythmic drive, and so somewhere on my mind these two works are linked, maybe perhaps only for me, but this is what I thought.
We are now December 2008, a few more months and you will quit being music director of the Los Angeles Philharmonic. Why are you quitting, and won't you be missing the orchestra that you conducted for the first time some 25 years ago?
Well, first of all, why I'm leaving, I felt that, first of all, I've been there for a long time and things have been fantastic, but I wanted to leave as long as things are still good. So I value that relationship so highly that I didn't want to even think of the risk of that starting to deteriorate in any way at all. So I decided to go when things are still very good. And the other thing is that I want to compose more, and I started to redesign my life in such a way that I can have less duties as a conductor and as a music director, and concentrate more on conducting some concerts, of course, but also having more time and mental focus on composing, because that's ultimately something I want to do more and more. And also, 17 years is a long time for any conductor to be anywhere, so I thought it was a good run.